heavy-handed Jamaican justice, highlighting the heavy-handed justice of my beloved Jamaican father. It's Saturday morning, somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. Look at that. 2 young boys are on their way up the winding dirt track, not too far from home yet, in fact. Levan is quite sure that he can throw a rock from here to land on the housetop down there. Their own housetop. Better not, though. Beware. He's strong, all right, but Dad is much stronger in might, and he's the one who's got the rod of correction in his hand, you hear? Always. Little brother steers Levan away from the wrong. He's always saddled with Levan's correction. Let's carry on, said the younger of the two, to guess who. Raleigh is 11, 2 years younger than Levan, but he carries around the smarts in his right hand and the one on the left too most of the time. So, carry on is what they're doing, even now. 22 steps further along the path. Yes, they're counting them off while walking the dirt patch. Now, look at this and that. Here comes the on-again, off-again friend of theirs on the lot, in the person of O'Neill. Yes, the friendship is on again. For real. For now, at least. He quickly catches and matches up steps with the brothers and walks on in strides with them as the forks in the path draw nearer before the bend, and hence the splitting up of the clans. Of them leaving him by himself to carry on and to go their separate ways again across the pasture lands. Not a moment too soon for them. Well, for Raleigh mostly so, my friends. But listen on. Listen up, boys. The words came floating in across their eyes. Don't you hear your father calling you? Yeah, that's him. O'Neill's big mouth is now threatening to throw them out, like to out brothers and their whereabouts. Bingo. Lucky O'Neill's winds go again. Father's keen and discerning ears had just swallowed up each of O'Neill's blabbering words from all the way down there where he was. Father heard and wanted to know where the brothers were going, since it was surely not in the general direction that they should have been going if they were intent on going where he had sent them. Father wanted the boys to gather guinea grass for the tiny herd of cattle he kept in a pen near the back end of the half-acre lot on which they lived, and farmed the cows and pigs to our asked favours and rattle. Levan, a smart-ass wannabe, knew of a better place than him and me, halfway up the road on the route to Jackson, where, when not tending the herd and farm, the brothers attend primary school in that town. The spot of which Big Brother spoke, and swore on a choke, the grass was much greener there. Definitely, more mature, fuller and better there. Better than those over in the already grazed-out lot where Dad had sent them to gather and cut. So up the road headed those two, even after the intervention of Blabbermouth O'Neill, their friend, who had just featured so prominently in the task of outing them and giving their whereabouts away. They didn't turn around and go back as Father had sternly instructed in the talk. They should have, as events will come to prove later on. The winding, dusty shortcut path they are now walking on will lead them to a point joining up with the road towards Jackson. Look, brothers are landing plumb here at this point of connection and intent on continuing in Jackson's direction. Kikiki cup, kikiki cup, kikiki cup. Hear that? That can mean one thing. Mr. Charleston and the horse again. Well, maybe 2. Mass Ivan also has a horse that he rides around these parts, but it's hardly likely to be him. He's more likely to be out riding in the evening, carrying the message of the Lord to the many eager hearers near and far off around these parts, and feeding. But they're coming still, horse and man, up the hill. Of course it was him. Raleigh was right again. He can pick out the man and his horse coming from a country mile away. The man on his mount quickly catches up with the brothers and slows it down a bit, to allow boys to keep up with man and horse as they exchange greetings in small talk and kick. They matched strides now as boys trotted along with the man on the horse until somebody is going to get lucky very quickly. It was probably due to his height from up there, where he was sitting in the saddle. The man saw a pretty shiny shilling grinning up at him from among the dust and gravel lying there on the unpaved country road. Look. Which one of you wants a shilling? The man is now asking while pointing down at the prize, waiting anxiously in the dust to be picked up by the willing. What a sweet, soothing surprise, look. 10 fighting right-handed fingers now tussling for the chance to be the lucky ones owning the buck. But I have a feeling that the prize will soon be going towards a split-up. Kikiki cup, kikiki cup, kikiki cup. Man on his mount is speeding away again, leaving boys peering at him through mushrooming clouds of Saturday morning dust and eye-wiping. Boys walked on through the planning conversation, trying hard to decide what goodies each one's pennies will get them at the end of school fair, which comes next weekend. The road continued and led them towards the weed path that branched off into Mr. Lindo's banana plantation. Then on further through and to a somewhat secluded and seemingly neglected patch of the field, where the most beautiful guinea grass grew to a grown man's neck height. But as for boys, they're over their heads deep in the itchy green leafy things. Yikes! No, this is not for joys, nor for weeping yet, but the well-sharpened machete went to work chopping away at soon-to-be hay and placing grass in 2 bundles. One for the meek and one for the humble. Look, look, here comes Henry, the head cook and bottle washer around these parts of the property. But boys aren't overly concerned about him today. We're just here gathering wildly grown guinea grass as hay to feed our father's cows and calves. So, whispered Raleigh's attempts to say. Calves that were too young to be out in the pasture at last. Yay! Make sure you cut it low, said Henry on the go. I don't want you leaving the roots sticking out like sharp stakes there to harm anybody, you hear? Okay, sir, said the boys in a chorus of joy. He was gone, Henry on the farm. Enough grass is now gathered to last a whole week. Boys begin to bundle it all up properly, getting ready to leave for home with it. Each boy heaves the haystack to the standing position like Joseph's holy standing sheaves. Yes, those from back over there in the promised land, dead fields. Beckoning boys to bend down and worship. Boys bend down, yes, towards the worship, but to pry each bundle up. Shoulder first, then up to the head from the neck. Picked up next was the boy's machete and headed for home, long before the time for bedding down should come. Back on the road again, heading home. Look, the weight of their errors is now weighing them down, if they try to take another step under the heavily bundled burden. Somebody will be pulling their heads, necks, and spinal columns out of the seats of their pants down home by nightfall. Come to think of it, that might turn out to be a better option than what is already there, awaiting the seats of their pants, as well as every other part of their backside, upon their return home at once, for having disobeyed their father's instructions to them. But first things first, boys have got to lighten this load, while we hang around here and watch you watching the node. Look, they're loosening each bundle now, after removing a portion from each stack. Look at that. Boys rebound each bundle with binding strings attached, leaving the portion they had removed from the bundle right there by the side of the road, stranded and humbled, is the new code. Boys are once again towing the road home. Vroom, vroom, vroom. What's that sound? Look, Mass Peter's pickup truck is coming on down, down, down on them. Oh my, a moment sooner, and we would have been in luck. Real luck, that is. Well, we're in luck now as it is, no? I know, but, said the other boy, it's because we're going to get a ride home with the grass. Had it been here 5 minutes earlier, we would have been able to get the whole batch home, fast, easier, and sweet enough to last the whole week. Yay, so to speak. Anyway, no need to cry over spilled milk, I'd say. Let's be thankful for the ride home on wheels, instead of footing it all the way there on tired heels. The boys are back home now, with 2 lovely bundles, which seems good enough to appease father's wrath somehow for them to be home good. But is it? Boys can always hope for that and this. For the rest of the day and into the night, until tomorrow morning as a matter of fact. Because if they get through the night without the rod of correction being put to work on their backsides, then all is well, as far as Dad is concerned. He likes to serve it up hot and boiling to burn. Mum, on the other hand, is quite the opposite of that one. Such things with her are quite another story to Niam and stir. She will store it up until it's most convenient for her, not for them. It never was. Then, she would serve up the accumulated batch of punishment over however long a while to lay it on them all in one. Luckily, this one's for Dad, and he only. Boys think and hope. Yeah, hopefully. But nope, not really. All went well for the rest of the day and into the night on the prayers they'd prayed. But Sunday morning is coming down fast, be afraid. Levan, we've got company, man. Who's it? I don't know. Why not go see who it is for yourself? You go. Why do I have to do everything for you all the time? Just shut up and go. Four Eyes now peek out through a crack in the window curtain. Oh, it's Miss Edwards, of course. It's her, from over near Jackson. Mrs. Edwards is the proper term here, I'm certain. What's she doing here so early? What does she want? How am I supposed to know, wise guy? Why don't you go ask her, smartass? You go ask, you're the clever one, no? No. It's none of our business anyway. Move over, go. I'm going back to lie down and to sleep. And while you're at it, don't forget to pray. You're going to need it. Cuffed. What? The brother reacts to the other brother heel-kicking his back. Mrs. Edwards is a family friend who lives in Jackson near the school children who's asking. Me. Certainly. She's very kind to boys, especially our father's overly willing-handed boys. Most evenings after school, boys can expect to receive some goodies and treats, like food. Other children, as far as boys were able to say of them, weren't so lucky that way. But then, the devil was in such a mix, it would seem, from the first day on and in. When something goes wrong in such a set-up situation, it becomes easy to point a finger at the familiar ones. Those who are closest to the happenings and are known by all. Obviously, something went wrong on Saturday, sometime around the morning way. That's why Mrs. Edwards came to visit early today. According to her story, as it was told to somebody, and then relayed to the boys cruelly by their daddy. Levan and Raleigh came to Jackson on Saturday morning along with one other person. Make a wild guess who that other person might have been and worsened. If you'd said O'Neill, yes, you'd have been spot on, right? Or the left one on the heels in a dress, right? Maybe. Most assuredly, but yes. When the devil, or that other fellow, when he's going to fix you, or she will fix you right. She does it well. Mrs. Edwards' story went on to say that the boys, all three of them, came to her house and home while she was out, broke in, and stole things from there. Now, what a perfect fit. Of course, no such thing had occurred. Not from the boys' perspective and standpoint, you can rest assured. All of their stated events and timelines were able to corroborate their stories when checked out. By then, though, the damage had already been done, no? Yes. But now back up to where we'd left off in the story, down home. How long it was afterward, like after Mrs. Edwards arrives in the yard, one might never know. But the boy is waking up again in the hard, cold grip of his father's cruel hand. Oh Lord. Yes, that's Raleigh praying. He is the first lamb up for the slaughter, correcting rod in hand, all ready to lay it on. Father now began. Where did you go yesterday morning? We went to Mr. Lindo's farm to cut grass. Was that where I'd sent you? He asked. No, but Levan said that no more grass was over there, and that he knew of another place where the grass is greener and good. So we went there. Where else did you go yesterday? Nowhere. We got the grass, and then got a ride home with Mass Peter. You didn't go to Jackson? No. Who else was with you yesterday? Nobody. It was just Levan and me. Weren't you with O'Neill? No. Yes, at first. We met up with him up there on the shortcut while we were walking through there. Then we split up and parted company. He went towards Allensworth, and we continued towards Jackson. But we didn't go that far. We didn't go to Jackson. You can ask Mr. Charleston. He will tell you. We saw him on the road going towards Jackson, and then we ran behind the horse and him until we couldn't keep up with them anymore. He rode away and we then went to the banana plantation where we saw Mass Henry. He told us to cut the grass low so as not to leave sharp stakes there that may injure someone's foot near the toe. He left us there. We then gather the grass and leave. When we got back out on the road, we realized that the bundles were too heavy for us, so we stopped and lightened the load by taking out a portion of the grass. As soon as we left from there, Mass Peter's pickup truck caught up with us, and we were lamenting over the fact that, if we had not lightened the load and left the rest of the grass up there, by the road, we would get it all home that easily, and with time to spare. Meanwhile, other than for adding his inputs here and there to firm up the story, in style. Look at him through the lens of this thing. See? Levan is just there, making himself as small as he possibly can in the farthest corner of the bed, waiting for his turn at bat, like at the battering. Yeah, just waiting on them in the left-wing bullpen. As soon as Rally's turn is done, Father is surely going to be putting it on him, on the backbone. Even though he's obviously slanted toward believing his boy's story, his logic and reasoning are that had the boys gone where he had sent them and done what he'd told them to do, he would have chased that woman away from his door so fast that she would have mistaken him for the pit bull and you. But with all that heat now behind them, the father's righteous bouts of punishment were not done. To seal the deal, boys had forfeited their privilege, he had said, that of going to the fair he had promised them that they could before bed. That was then, though. This is now, no? Yes. Boys still have a shilling in their pocket, though, waiting for the split up and sharing, and for another hometown show. Coming on down, slow. The takeaway here is this. In my father's Jamaican household, same as things are in some other places, so I'm told. You're not there to think, you're there to follow instructions and wink. The little boy was to learn more about this point later on, even as a big grown-up man. Other stories for other days? Perhaps. Yeah man, a Jamaica yard me come from. Sorry, I meant to say that I'm Jamaican born and bred, okay?